Hi everyone, this is Tammy at Snowstorm Crafts and welcome. So today I'm super excited to show you guys my quilt that I'm making for my son, and it is my very first quilt I've ever made, ever. So I have a playlist that I'll put on the end screen of a series of me making all the way up to this point. And what I want to show you guys today is how to sew the quilt top together. So I'm just going to tell you guys what I did, how I'm piecing it together, and then I will show you how I sew it together. Okay, so starting off, I went ahead and got little pieces of paper, and I'll make sure to throw the video in now. I did a time lapse. I grabbed little pieces of paper and wrote the numbers 1 through 18 on it, and then I did an arrow up and one down. And I'll get you guys a close up to show you what I did. And uh, little Patty wants to come and say hi. She's running around outside. It's rainy outside today, so she's not happy with me because I made it rain. So I did numbers 1 through 18 because that's what's up at the top of my quilt here, and I'll give you guys a close up of that too. And I did arrows up and then arrows down on each one. Number 1 is like up, number 2 is down, and I will tell you guys why I did that later on in the video. That'll be important. Okay, and then I also have a quick video that I'll throw in here showing you guys. I didn't like the layout where I was kind of making it look a little square. Like it almost looked like a flag. Like I told my son, and I sent him a picture and stuff. He goes, "Mom, that kind of looks like a flag," just because it was kind of square here, and then it just kind of squared out. And I had in the comments that people were saying if you take it and horizontally lay them out, like if you lay them out horizontally, because I wanted to go lighter to darker, and so that's what I'm showing you in this video real quick here. Is I took them all off and then laid them all back on there. And I really like the way the layout went. I think it turned out really good and I love it. So this is the final. This is final. So this next step we're doing is sewing them all together. Okay? So I'll bring you guys down to the table and I'll show you what I'm doing. So I wanted to show you guys real quick that I went ahead and just numbered all of them. So I have 2 and 3 on the table right now. So there's 3 all the way over into 18 over here. So that's how I wrote them all out, and I did arrows up and down on each. One row is down, one row is up, one row is down. So that's how I did it. Okay. So I got you all situated here on the table, and I'll show you guys. So what I did is I went ahead and grabbed the stack off the wall, starting with number 1. So I just grabbed number 1. Here, I'll show you on this stack. I grab number, say this is, row 2. So you just grab the one that's at the top, you go here, and then just work your way all the way down and grab each one. You're just going to stack them all in order, just like that. Okay? So after you grab them all off, you got all number 1s here. What I did is I pinned them together with my little applique pins here. So I got this one all pinned together, ready to sew like that. Okay, I'll show you on this one. We're going to start off with the number 2, whatever number you have at the top. You just grab it, then you grab the next one on your pile because you already grabbed them off in order. Okay, so you see how the seams are going this way? You're going to take the next one and have the seams go horizontal. Okay, so you're just going to want to have them go opposite each time. So we're going to stick this one right sides to right side, like that. Get our pins. And then this doesn't have to be pinned perfect. We're just kind of getting them together right now. And then when we go to sew them, we'll line them up a lot better. So just for now, we're just going to put them together. Okay, so there's that one. Then you grab the next one off the pile, and then the seams are going horizontal, so you're going to go vertical. Go to right sides to right side, and then just pin it. It's as easy as that. Okay. Then the next one is going to go horizontal. You're going to do that all the way through your whole row. So all row 2 is just going to be pinned just like that. So here's a little tip and trick. Just make sure when you're doing them vertical and horizontal that the tops start with your number 1 going horizontally and then number 2 going vertically. And by the time you sew these two together, it'll all go together. If you guys see what I'm saying here. So then they'll all line up perfectly. So there's a little fun tip and trick. I think I have you guys set up pretty good where you can see what I'm doing here. And so first thing you should do, every machine's different, but I'm going to show you guys on my machine what I would do here is I'm going to turn my stitch length down to 2. If you are a beginner, I recommend you turn down your speed to like 2 or 1. Okay. And we're going to be sewing a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you could put a 1/4 inch foot on if you have one. I just have my regular foot. And you can take masking, if you don't have a 1/4 inch like I do here, you can take masking tape and just tape it right along and make it so it's the edge right there at a 1/4 inch. Okay. I'm going to set my needle at 3. I like that. And then just make sure you keep it at whatever you're going to keep it at for the whole quilt top. And just keep lining it up and lining it up every time you go through with it. Okay. Oh, and also, if you guys don't want to keep stopping and doing bobbins, make sure to fill up a whole bunch of bobbins at the beginning of this project, and then you can have a bunch to just grab and put back in, you know. And you can change your needle. If you haven't changed it for a while, just change it to a fresh needle, and you have a sharp needle to work with. Okay, so I'm going to start with 1 here. Let's see. I need to go grab my bigger pins. I'll be right back. All right, so I am all set up. I got my nice cup of tea here. I'm ready to sew. Got my big pins. I just grabbed my big ones. These are better. Got my glasses. Those are always good. And I got my little pillow to put all my little pins, my applique pins in. I like to put them in this little pillow here. Okay, so just make sure you got everything ready. I got my little scissors for cutting. My machine cuts over on the side here too, but it's nice to have a pair of scissors. And then I have my little guide tool that helps just guide it through because you do not want to get your fingers near that needle at all. So what we're going to do is we're at number 1. We got our pin. So we're going to take this pin out and put it into something. Don't just throw it around because trust me, the dog will find it. Or I don't know if you can see him. Rudy's over there laying. He's got his little turkey on the other little bed over there, sleeping. It's pretty funny. It's his favorite toy, his little turkey. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and line up your squares. You just line them up. You make sure the corners are lined up. Make sure the edges are lined up. And then you take your pins, and I just like to use the bigger pins because it's easy. So just make sure they're lined up, and then you're just going to pop your pin in on the edge here. I think that's easiest because as you're sewing, you can just pull them right out. Okay. And if you have bigger squares, I recommend to go ahead and move this over here. Go ahead and put a pin in the middle. But since these are smaller squares, pin. So just maneuver it around, get it lined up, and then just pop in your needle like that. Okay? Then you're ready to go. Get on each side. Move stuff out of your way if you need to. We're just going to line up. So I'm going to line up on my 1/4 inch seam allowance the whole time. And I'm not going to worry about back stitching or anything like that because we'll be connecting these strips together. Just keep it lined up. And I just cut right there. I usually have a little thread can or jar or something. I don't have it out here with me. So open it up. And then there you go. You can see you're all connected together. You can see how I have these seams going horizontal and these vertical like that. Pretty fun. So we're going to go to the next one. Pop these out. That one. And then we're just going to do the same thing. You just want to make sure you line up the square edges right here. Square it up. Put your pin. And just take your time. I mean, get your tea, put on a good book on tape, or watch your favorite show, or do whatever makes you happy. Listen to music. I love blasting my music too, because sometimes I can't hear anything else because of the sewing machine. So I like to put on some music, and it motivates me. And yeah, you can see, I'm just lining it up, and we're gonna do the same thing here. And if you have tape or your 1/4 inch, you can start at the bottom here and just slide it up, line it up, and then just put down your foot, cut out your needle. And I don't want you guys to stress out about it and go, oh my gosh, sewing's way too hard. You have to line it up too much and make it. Fabric is forgiving. It is. So if you're a little bit schmidgel off, or don't stress about it, because fabric does forgive a lot. So you're able to kind of work around it when you add the other uh, your other row over and stuff. You can line things up and move things around and pull one tighter just to line it up. So I wouldn't, go, oh my gosh, I don't want to sew, because that's just way too perfection with it. Because by any means, I am not a perfectionist about anything. I just try to follow these steps and see where it gets me. So this is my very first quilt top or quilt that I've ever made. But I've been sewing since, I had my first sewing machine when I was like about 5 or 6, because my mom's like a master quilter. She's been doing it for years. And she got me my own little sewing machine. So I've sewn, and I've done many, many different projects with sewing, but this is my very first quilt. So I know some tips and tricks on it. And, going and watching other YouTubers and different information like that is always fun. And just to see, you can always learn. There's always learning to be had. And I am definitely open to new things. And I'm having way fun doing this quilt. So this is definitely going to be my new passion here. I'll be making everybody a quilt. So I'm just doing the same thing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue just sewing these together and get them all sewn. And then I'm going to do my other strip too, the second strip over here that we did. I'm going to get those sewn together, and then we will go to the iron and press these out, and I'll show you what the arrows were for. I have rows 1 and 2 sewn together. Okay. And what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and strengthen our seams here. We're going to do a press, and I'll show you. We're just going to start off with row 1 here. You're going to want to fold them like that. Do the good side to good side, or right side to the right side. And you got your iron, and we're going to press it. We're not going to sit here and iron back and forth. We're just going to press. So I put water in my iron. You can either use a spray bottle or starch if you want. But what we're going to do is just press the seams here along all the way down and just do a good press with some steam, and that strengthens the threads. Just do a press. There's no need to go back and forth or anything like that. So just give it just a quick press with some steam, and then lift it. And then we're going to do the next one. We're going to do that all the way along both of them. And I'm just holding it there just a couple seconds, just to, it flattens them and it strengthens them. And we definitely want that on our quilt tops for sure. Okay, so I'm going to continue and just press all along 1 and 2 rows, and I'll be back. Okay, so I got both rows 1 and 2 with the seams pressed. Okay, now the arrow. So on this one, on number 1, I have the arrow going up. On number 2, which goes right beside it, the arrow is going down. So what we're going to do is on the arrow going up, we're going to flip this over. The arrow's going up. So we're going to have all our seams here, all these seams go up. Okay? And we're going to press. There's no need to sit there and iron back and forth or anything like that. You can just press. We can press all these going up. If you need to, you can steam it. Or like I said, you can do starch. I'm just going to have them all go up. And then this is going to be when all these go up, and then the next one goes all down. I'll show you guys how to nest your seams together. I'm just going to continue doing this and make all my seams just go up. So I went ahead and I pressed all the seams on number 1 up, and then all the seams on number 2 down. I'll press down. Now what you're going to want to do is we're going to take 1 and face the good to the good, the right side's to right side. Show you guys how to nest the seams here. Put 1 down, 2 on top. Try that. Okay, so 2 is on top, 1 is on the bottom, and then when we sew onto the right side here, we flip it open, 1 will be on the right. Okay? So you got to make sure your row 1 is going to be on the right side. So however you have to put that together. So I'm going to do 1 on bottom, 2 on the top, and put goods to good. Okay? And then I'm going to line up the corners. This. And let me go grab my pins real quick. Now I'm ready. We're going to line up the corners. And then you're going to line up your seams here. So what you're going to want to do, once you line up the corner here, go to your seam on both sides and see. You can see that they fit right into each other. So if you can move it, you want to make sure you can move them towards each other where they can't move anymore. So you're setting the seams, and then you got one that we pressed that's going up and one that we pressed that's going down, so that reduces the bulk when you're sewing. Okay. And if your machine can't take too much bulk or anything like that, you could put a walking foot on your machine too, and that'll help. But sewing or iron them, pressing them this way right up and then this way down, it really does reduce that bulk, so you're not having a big old both of them going the same way where there's a lot of bulk there. But also nesting the seams is when you push it like this and you can't push it anymore, and you could see when you open it up that this seam is lined up and it's nestled right in there, just like that. So that is nesting the seam. So when you get it just right, just the way you want it, you grab your pins. And you're going to want to put a pin on one side of the seam. See that they're laying flat and that they're, and make sure the top's lined up too. This top part right there, make sure that's lined up. And then you're going to put one on the other side, just like that. Okay, and then I'll go to the next one. We're just doing these the big seams on here. So, see, this one needs to be lined up. You just nestle it in there together. Make sure it's lined up on the top up here too. And then if you can't push it over any further, make sure you guys can see that they're nested like that together. So you're going to take it. This makes it a lot easier to sew them. And you're knowing that you're lining up all your seams all the way down. So then it'll look really nice when it's all done. Pins on each side, and then work your way all the way down with it. Go to the next one. See, you can see it's going this way, the pressed seam, and then the other one's going the opposite way. And then you just push them in, and if you can't push them any further together, then they're nestled in there. All nested and nestled. And then just line the tops up, like, don't have it like that and pin it. So just pop that up, line that up, and then I'm going to pin on the other side. So it's pretty repetitive. And then you just keep going all the way down your line, and we'll do the next one, all the way to the end, and then we'll sew it all together. All my seams are nested together. I'm all pinned at the beginning here. So if you have bigger pieces than I do, bigger squares, you can go ahead and pin in the middle of each one if you want. But just make sure to line up the beginning here when you start. And if you want, you can put a pin there. So we're all nestled together here. It's all nested. And I'm just going to make sure that these are straight. I have it my stitch length at 2.0. I got my needle over at 3. This is just my machine. You can turn down your machine if you don't want to go too fast. And line it up on your 1/4 inch. You want all your threads back behind so we don't have a rat's nest or anything. There we go. Okay. So we're lining up the 1/4 inch seam allowance. And we're just going to start stitching. So I don't really need to stop and cut or anything. It's just going to be one straight line all the way down. Double check, make sure when you do open it up, number 1 is going to be on the right side. So line it up to your 1/4 inch, and we're just going to work our way all the way down until we get to our pins right here. So what I do is, as I'm sewing, I just stare at this. You know, I make sure nothing's getting bunched up under the needle or anything, but I just stare at the 1/4 inch line right here and just make sure that whatever I'm sewing just stays straight with that. Okay, and then all these seams are going down that we pressed. Go on with it here. And just take your needles out as you get to them. And just stay lined up with your 1/4 inch. Okay, and I'm just going to continue along here. So I'm super excited. I got these all nested, sewn, and you can see how they just line up. Look really good. So just repeat the process that we did, and I encourage you guys just to sew all yours together. I got 18 rows for me to do, and yeah, so I'm going to continue doing that, and then we will have a completed quilt top. So I'll meet you guys back here when it's all finished. I finished the quilt top. I think it turned out really cool. So pretty. I just wanted to show you guys the finished here. I got them all sewn together. I'll take you guys closer. Let's see. I'll try not to get my shadow in here. Turned out really cool. I just got to take all the numbers off the top. So that came in really handy. Just putting the bigger number right on top and then sewing it. I did all the individual squares together and then did the strips. I think it turned out really cool. It goes from lighter to darker. And this is just a fun, scrappy quilt to do. Use up all your scraps, all those little bits that you're always wondering what to do with. This is just a perfect project to do that. And I think my son is going to love this quilt. So I'll make sure to put the series on the end screen for you guys, and there will definitely be more to come. So make sure to subscribe if you could. Hit the notification bell. Like, comment, and share, and let's grow together. And keep on crafting, guys.